A Russian tank fell into a crater and was targeted by Ukrainian drones. New footage appeared.
So what has changed on the front since this permission? Why haven't the Allies taken another important step yet? And what do Ukrainian military say about the new conditions? On May 29th,
Given the green light, we could easily destroy enemy electronic warfare systems, command centers, and missile launch platforms. We know where they all are. We could stop the invaders.
we will return to Achilles later, but for now, currently being tested in the war in Ukraine. Ground-launched small-diameter bombs, or GLSDBs, proved ineffective as they were downed by Russian jammers. Instead,
Released by Ukraine's 68th Jaeger Brigade, begins by showing drone video of an oncoming column of Russian armor. The vehicle at the front of the company is taken out by an explosion. Debris can be seen flying up into the air. Drones then attack the rest of the column of tanks and According to the video's caption, 8 Russian tanks and 8 infantry fighting vehicles, IFVs, were destroyed. The video was taken in Pokrovsk in Ukraine's Donetsk region, one of the most tense areas along the front line.
Warfare, command and control there. It had maybe a degree of kind of sanctuary.
Ukrainians saw all this, but their hands were tied. Old Soviet weapons did not reach there, and Western ones were prohibited to use. What did this lead to? Russia occupied another 200 square kilometers again. Several villages were destroyed by glide bombs and artillery. The almost 20,000-strong town of Vovchansk became a battlefield and practically ceased to exist. Now the situation may change. The Russian offensive is already stalled. Most of Ukraine's allies have given permission to freely use their weapons. Russia constantly threatens everyone with words. But how did they actually respond? With it something and does nothing. Same thing happened with the tank coalition, ATACMS and F-16s. Provision of all these weapons was caused by the intensification of Russian attacks on the battlefield, and all this helped to level this situation at least a little. However, all this time the West has only been reacting, not anticipating events. But here's what Ukraine could actually achieve if it no longer had to fight with one hand behind its back. Crimea is a Ukrainian peninsula that Russia has occupied since 2014. It is Putin's pride. It hosts multiple Russian military bases, airfields, and a naval fleet. But now all of this is under threat. Almost half of the once formidable Russian Black Sea Fleet is already at the sea bottom. On April 17th, after an attack, targets in Crimea are attacked by Ukraine with a deadly combination of its own naval and air drones, as well as long-range missiles. However, the USA did not allow firing ATACMS in the north of Ukraine. What does the White House have to say about it? Might again be done in response to another Russian escalation. Meanwhile, thanks to the new permission, Ukrainians are making another move in response. Do you remember the heartfelt cry of the Ukrainian officer Achilles? It seems that something has changed now.
The ground under the occupiers' feet is starting to burn. Their equipment, artillery, S-300 and S-400 systems, electronic warfare means. All this is starting to ignite. In future, our allies allow us to use long-range weapons exclusively against military targets. We must strike the enemy in its lair and fight the root of the problem, not its consequences.